You have to, every now and again, you have to do some underwear shopping. I needed to get some new underwear. I don't know if this is a bit of a TMI kind of story, but... Hello everybody and welcome back to my podcast, Esme's Country Life. Today I thought I would update you on actually some time at home. I've been at home recently, which I've really been enjoying. I felt like the last couple of podcast episodes have been all about my travels in the USA, but do not worry, I have lots of updates on the horses. I thought I'd also talk about some funny interactions where I've been recognised and things like that. I've also been to the Windsor horse show recently, so lots to update you on. But anyway, before we begin, I just want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of the podcast, Red Post. Red Post is an equestrian and country store based in the UK, but they also ship all over the world. So if you need anything, be sure to get it from them. Recently, I'm having to restock on fly masks and fly rugs because it's that time of year, people. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but this sort of spring, the flies have been in full force. Every evening, I'm having to put the horses in at like 5 o'clock. Normally, they go out a little bit longer in the spring, summer because it doesn't really get dark till 9 o'clock now, which is lovely. But yeah, the flies in the evenings, there's like a swarm of them. They come out, so restock on your fly spray and all that kind of stuff from Red Post. Thank you for sponsoring. But anyway, let's get into me updating you all on what's been happening. So I actually have a really funny story that happened yesterday because every now and again, when I'm out and about, I get recognised. To be fair, at horse shows like the Windsor horse show that I was at the other day, I get recognised a little bit more in like horsey kind of situations. To be fair, Windsor is a little bit more of like a chilled show. It's the indoor shows, like the London International Horse Show, where it is like a different world. Like, I don't know how to describe it because I don't want to be like person that's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I get recognised everywhere. But, you know, normally in my day-to-day life, when I go to the supermarket or whatever, I just live my normal life. The thing that I've kind of realised though, since talking to my friends, because I went out with my friends yesterday, is that I get spotted, but I don't realise that I get spotted because some people, they're a little bit shy. They maybe won't come up and say hi, or, you know, they're just like, you do you know, live your life. But if you do ever see me, you're more than welcome to come and say hi, get a photo. I love chatting to you guys. But anyway, a lot of the time, because I'm just like in my own little dream world, I just thought for ages that I don't know, I just maybe am just not a very observant person, but I've realised that people look at me or like clock onto me or realise, oh my gosh, that's Esme, when I'm not looking at them. So my friends were like, I think that person just recognised you there, and I just don't realise at all. But anyway, so this funny story, I thought I would tell it to you because it made me giggle. It was a very cute interaction. So anyway, like any other woman, you have to, every now and again, you have to do some underwear shopping. I needed to get some new underwear. I don't know if this is a bit of a TMI kind of story, but, you know, everyone has to do some underwear shopping every now and again. And normally, I'm an order online kind of gal. But sorry for all the boys listening, but when you're buying bras, you do have to try them on sometimes. It's one of those things, like everyone is built in different shapes. I am a member of the small booby community. I don't have much up top, so I do have to try them on to make sure that they do fit. So I was, you know, in an underwear shop, which as a family-friendly, wholesome YouTuber probably was a little bit of a jump scare, a little bit of surprise because I got recognised in there. And there was this girl who was in her her teens and she was shopping with her mum in there. And I could just tell that this girl, she was probably a little bit embarrassed. I mean, because the mum actually came up to me and was like, oh my gosh, Esme, like my daughter loves watching your videos, can we get a photo, that kind of thing. And when you're like a teenager, I don't know, I definitely when I was that age, I would have been like, no mum, this is so embarrassing, stop, like especially in an underwear shop of all places. But we got a photo, we had a little chat, it was lovely. So there's probably a photo of me somewhere with, you know, underwear in the background. I don't know if that looks dodgy or not, but you know, at the end of the day, we're girls, you gotta try on. We had like such a girly shopping trip yesterday as well. Like we did all the things. We went and tried on bras, we went and tried on like bikinis as well, which is also something that, I don't know, as a small boobed person, you gotta try on as well, because the last thing that you want is it to be too big, gaping and something to fall out. That is definitely not the look that I am going for. But no, we had such a lovely day. We got some good food. It was bank holiday yesterday. I'm filming this on the Tuesday afterwards. So we went round the lanes, which I always think is a little bit like the seaside version of Diagon Alley in Harry Potter, because we do have those little lanes like that, although I wouldn't really say they've got magical shops in there. A lot of them are actually engagement ring shops, so we had a little wander around there, definitely not looking or window shopping at any of that right now, but it was fun. We had such a cute day out. We got some good food. Oh my gosh, I had these loaded fries and they were really good, and I had like a big old milkshake as well, so it was a good food day. I don't know what it is, but going into town on the train, because our local kind of like town city, it's just so much easier. This is probably like a lot of UK towns and cities, but it's just so much easier getting the train, because often like getting in the car, you're gonna have to be stuck in traffic, or there's the multi-story car parks are often extortionate prices, so it's actually cheaper to get the train, which actually train prices are pretty expensive nowadays anyway. But I felt like I was a teenager again. I had the best day, like, because when I was younger, I'd just get dropped off at the train station and then go up on the train. So I don't know, whenever I get the train, it's normally not for work, it's normally for like a fun day trip out. So whenever I get the train, I always feel very excited. Apart from actually London, I've recently done quite a few worky bits in London, so maybe it's feeling a little bit more like going to work, but still good fun. So that was really cute. It was a very like nostalgic day. I just felt like I was a teenager again, going shopping in town. But we actually had like a little bit of a girly shopping day, because I do have a holiday booked for a few days in the summer, and we're going on a little girls trip, so we were getting cute stuff for that. Tried on some summer dresses as well, so yeah, it was a cute day. But yes, back to being recognised in public. So my friends, they just see me as Esme, that kind of thing. And they honestly completely forgot that I get recognised in public sometimes. So I was talking to my friend about this, and she was like, when this mum came over and was like, my daughter, she thought she was going to be like, my daughter needs help in the changing room, or my daughter needs this in an extra size. Because I don't know what it is, but I'm that person. Whenever I'm in shops, people just think I work there for some reason. And they're like, oh, do you have this in a bigger size? And I'm like, I'm sure they do, but I don't work here, so I don't know. I can't really go around back and, check for stock for you, but I'm sure there's somebody around here that can help you. So yeah, she would like honestly just like did not realise, and that's reminded me of another funny interaction / story. So I was invited, this is actually quite a while ago now, but it just makes me chuckle of how much my friends like don't see me as this Esme, they just see me as Ez. But anyway, so I was invited to go and do this like karaoke night at a local kind of little coffee shop kind of place in the evening, and I was like, yeah, this sounds so much fun, I'm down. So I was added to the group chat, and one of my friends who didn't really realise that we were that close was like, oh my gosh, have you seen that there's a famous person that's coming to the karaoke? And my friend was like, oh, it's like Esme bringing a friend that's like famous or something. And they were like, no, Esme's coming. And my friend was like, oh yeah, I forget that, she does the old social media kind of thing, which I don't know, that story just made me chuckle a little bit, because my friend was like, oh, is she bringing like a horse rider or someone? But yeah, that was like a little funny story. So anyway, they are my like being recognised stories. The only other time that I've been recognised, which was kind of like an awkward place, but I'm always down for a photo wherever it is, was I think it was at the toilets in Victoria Station. But a lot of the time when people come up to me, they're often like a little bit shy, and they'll either say, oh my gosh, like my younger sister loves watching your videos, or like when I was younger I used to love watching your content. But I mean, I feel like a lot of you have grown up with watching my content, and I definitely don't make the sort of content that I used to when I was younger. Like, I'm still very family friendly and all that kind of stuff, but nowadays I'm doing more stuff with the cottage and more like vlogs with the horses and that kind of stuff, and less kind of challengey, silly, light-hearted stuff that I used to do back in the pandemic to try and keep everyone entertained during a not so nice time. But you know what? Every now and again, it's fun to do a little silly video like that. Maybe when my brother's back from uni, we can do another bike versus horse, because at all of my meet and greets, that is the video that everyone has asked for, like a rematch, bike versus horse, maybe even a car versus horse. You never know, but that could be fun. But yeah, anyway, I thought I would next go on to talking about the royal... I've been fiddling with my bracelet and I literally just undid it and it went flying. Okay, I need to try and put that back on. It's one of those ones that's like, I don't know what it is about bracelets, but they are always just so tricky to put on yourself. I don't know what it is. Oh, can I do it? It's back on. I've done it. Proud of myself. Sorry. Anyway, Royal Windsor Horse Show. That's what I talk about. So, I think I said in a previous episode that I tried mounted games recently because we did like a little promotion video for the Royal Windsor Horse Show. I was working with them, doing like a little Addy kind of thing. And to get people to go along, watch the mounted games, which the England mounted games team did win. So I'm going to say I was their lucky mascot. Not really. I saw them just before they went on. And I was like, good luck, guys. Have the best time. There was one poor girl and she was saying how at her school... they did like a whole like thing. They got my YouTube video, put it up because she was in it, and like her whole year group watched it, and I was like, or her whole class watched it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that I embarrassed you there. But yeah, so that was quite funny. To be fair, when I was at school, this probably sounds so weird, but in form time, before, or like tutor time, whatever you want to call it, basically before you do the register, when everyone would like arrive at school, my form tutor was like, oh, Esme, what video do you have this week? Let's watch it. And they would like watch my video on a Friday or whatever. So I feel like most people would be really embarrassed by that, but I was like, oh, to be fair, if I talk in a video, I'd find it embarrassing. But if I didn't talk and it was just me riding, that was fine. And probably around back then, I didn't really talk to the camera much because I was very shy. So there we go. But I don't know. I don't know. As I've got older, I just don't really get embarrassed. I've never really been one of those people that get really, really embarrassed. But I think that's because I've just never tried to be too cool. I've just always been myself. So there we go. Also, I feel like especially doing this podcast is literally just me talking about all of my embarrassing stories, funny things that have happened, where some people, like I talked about the postman story. If you haven't heard about that one, about me flashing the postman, talked about that on my old I never know if I can say other social medias. If I ever like abbreviate social medias, I'm like saying IG for, you know, what platform I'm talking about. It's because sometimes on some platforms they not ban, but they don't promote your content as much. So for example, on IG, some people call it the clock app, which is really weird, or they refer to it as TT, if you know what I mean. Because I don't know, I don't want the podcast. To be fair, depends on what platform you're listening to, because sometimes they're like, some platforms, they're a little bit like they're sworn enemies. They're trying to compete with each other. So I mean, this podcast goes on all the platforms, so yeah, let me know what you're listening to it on. I feel like some people go on lots of different things. Anyway, sorry, that was a little interlude there. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, it was on the clock app. I thought, I'll tell, you know, maybe it's a bit of a different audience on that app to, you know, the podcast listeners. I thought, you know what, I'll tell that story while doing a little get ready with me. That'll maybe a few people might come across it that have never seen my content before and might find it funny. The amount of people in the comments were like, you could not like get this information out of me, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you told that story on the internet. I didn't even think it was that bad. You know, embarrassing things happen to everyone. I just thought it was quite funny. Anyway, moving swiftly on, what was I talking about? Royal Windsor Horse Show. Yes, back to there. So no, it was definitely more like work-wise, like a little bit more of like a chilled horse show for me. So I had so much fun. So obviously got there, did my normal routine of quickly going around the shopping area before it gets too busy, saying hi to all my sponsors and doing a little bit of filming for them and a bit of filming for the show. Got to actually sit down and watch a bit of the show jumping and things. That was really nice. My friend was actually there with her family, so we went off for a little bit and did some shopping together, which is actually where I got this bracelet from. So anyway, but I feel like normally I don't really get that much when I go shopping at horse shows, but this time I did do a bit of shopping, guys. It was actually, I've got another being recognised story, because there was this one kind of like, I think it's because of the Royal Windsor Horse Show. Definitely this year they've gone more into like the country living lifestyle kind of stuff, and they have a lot of shops centred around that. So there was this one shop and they were selling throws, and I actually bought two because normally throws are so expensive, but this guy he was selling them for a real good price. They were made of like proper wool and everything, so really high quality. I bought Oh, sorry, I had a little hiccup then. I bought one pink one that I've put on my sofa. I've actually put a little poll on my IG today to see. It always sounds so weird saying that. I hate saying it like that. But anyway, to see which kind of way of styling it you guys prefer, because I thought in my cottage, in that little corner, I just needed to add a little bit of colour. So I thought add a bit of pink, make it nice, make the cottage nice and girly. So I've added that, and it goes really well with my cushions. It really goes well with my cupboards that are behind, which was the wall of indecision for so long, which is now painted in sort of like a beigey grey colour. I want to say greyish, but that doesn't sound very nice. But anyway, it sounds horrible, but it is really nice. My house isn't one of those just grey, beige and white, no colour at all houses. It does have a lot of, actually it's pink and olive green, which sounds really disgusting together. Like some people say, is it pink and green should never be seen, or is it blue and green should never be seen? Unless there's something in between, and there's something in between. There's like a beige and a white and that kind of thing. So it looks cute, I promise. If you've seen photos of it, you'll know what I mean. But it is cute. So anyway, I got that, and that has just added so much colour, like a lovely pop of colour to it, and it's like kind of like a dusky pink as well. So very pretty. And I also bought a second one in like a navy greyish, which sounds like, I was going to say gravy, navy grey gravy. That's definitely not a very good colour kind of name. Anyway, moving on. But that fits on this little chair that I have in the cottage perfectly, and it covers it all as well, because I was never really sure about the colour of it, because it's kind of like a duck egg blue, and I always kind of wanted that office to be more of like a navy thing, especially as in the cottage there's a lot of sage green, and I thought the duck egg blue or the duck egg green and the sage might clash a little bit. But anyway, I'm just absolutely stoked. I'm so happy because it fits perfectly, and I was like, yes, 10 out of 10. That was, you know, when you get something and you're like, oh, I don't know if this is going to quite work, and then it works perfectly. It was just very satisfying. Also recently in the cottage, I've been doing up my shelves. So oh my gosh, the other day, I was aching afterwards. I did not realise when you were sanding things down how like it's like a total workout. Like forget going to the gym, just sand some stuff down. Oh my goodness. I had like chest pain the next day, not like heart or lungs chest pain. It was like intercostal muscles or like muscles in your ribs kind of chest pain. Oh my goodness. I was like, I feel like a granny walking around. It was not good. But anyway, so I've done all the prep work for that, so I just need to paint it, and then I'm so excited because I can put all of my books in my bookshelves. And I have this massive cardboard box with all of my books, because you guys know I am an avid reader, and I just can't wait to decorate them all. Now, this is a controversial thing. Some people in their at-home libraries or bookshelves and things, they like to do it by alphabetical order. When you can either do alphabetical order by the name of the book or the author, and then also some people like to do like a rainbow kind of colour order. Now, if you guys know me, you know, I've got my saddle pads all in a rainbow order. I feel like I'm going to have to put them in rainbow order. But the thing that upsets people about that is that if you have books in a series, that some people split the series in half. So what I might do is have one area for all my series so they can stay together. I don't want to abandon them or split them up. I feel like that's really mean. And then one area where it's rainbow. Because to be fair, I don't really have that many series. I don't think. I'm more of like a standalone kind of, I don't know. Depends how I'm feeling. It depends on the genre and the book and that kind of thing. But anyway, there's that. But anyway, back to the Windsor Horse Show. There was one other little story from that I thought I would talk about, because if you've never been before, the Royal Windsor Horse Show is actually basically in the King's Garden, which is very cool. So you're by Windsor Castle, that kind of thing. There was this, it was actually really cute. I was going up into the stands, and there was this dad and daughter that were there, and if you've ever been to like a horse show like that before, if the show jumping's on or some sort of competition, you have to wait for their round or their kind of dressage test to be done before you can get into your seats. So I was waiting there and we were just like quietly kind of like chatting in the wings kind of area on the steps, and the guy and the daughter was saying to me how they literally just walked past the king and the royal family and they didn't know what to do. They were just like, do we like look down, do we bow, like what do you do in this sort of situation? So that was really funny chatting to them. But anyway, back, they have like the king's troop and everything there, and if you've never been before, this might surprise you, but they have like a full-on cannon at the end of the day, and I think they set it off like 3 times every single year, every single time. Even if I'm watching it and I know that the cannon is going to go off, it always makes me jump. I'm such a jumpy person. So yeah, that was a little bit embarrassing. I did like a little squeak. I sound like a little mouse. I just go, ah! Like a little, ah. Anyway, it always makes me jump. Talking about things that make me jump, the other day, I was brave. And I went and had my back done with a chiropractor for the first time, which I've always been quite scared of. But to be fair, I didn't book in a chiropractor kind of appointment. It's actually my friend who's recently started up a clinic. And anyway, I went to go and have a sports massage because you guys know, normally I see my gal D from the Dynamic Performance Hub, but she has been recently having the best time traveling in New Zealand and things. So I haven't seen her for a while. And after all of my travel in the US, sleeping on planes, sleeping in cars, a lot of travel, carrying around heavy camera bags, it's not good for the back. And you guys know I have a back of like an 80-year-old woman. So every now and again, I need to go and see someone and sort me out. So my friend was like, I've started a thing. If anybody wants an appointment, I was like, perfect. Go and see her. And it was actually really lovely because sometimes if you guys have been to a massage or like physio appointment or that kind of thing, it can be like a little bit weird having like a stranger just like, I don't know, touch you while you're half naked. Like, it is a little bit weird when you think about it, but because it was my friend, it was so chill. I was like updating her on like what I've been up to recently because I hadn't seen her for a while. And then she also does chiro, and she was like, girl, your shoulders, like, I've done the sports massage and it's feeling a lot better, but because I was talking about basically the pain that I normally have is on my kind of like upper back and shoulders, where I think also I'm a little bit of an anxious person, so sometimes I proper tense myself, and I think I do that in my sleep. I just kind of go into crawl into like a little stress ball because I always have very weird and vivid dreams. Anyway, moving on. So anyway, she was like, would you like a little bit of chiro at the end? I'll throw it in for free for like an extra 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, I've never had it done before and I'm very scared, but sure. And I don't know how, if you've never had it done before, I don't know how to describe it, but like it made me jump because she like kind of like clicks things and stuff. So hopefully, I've been feeling really good. I feel a lot more mobile in my neck, which is normally where I struggle a little bit. So anyway, yeah, that was that. Also, I had this was on Friday, and I had such a cute little day out afterwards because it was kind of like after I finished all my work for the day, because a lot of people ask me, how long does it take to edit your YouTube videos? And for me, it really depends on the video. And this day, I was so happy because I wasn't expecting to finish editing this whole video before my appointment. But I got it all done. I even made a thumbnail as well. I was Mrs. Efficient that day. So I was like, I'm going to give... Because also, where I was parked, I was like, do I go for the 2 hours? Do I, like, how long, you never really know how long you're going to be. And I was like, it's not that much extra to just go the full day. So I went full day, and I was happy that I did that because I did a little bit of shopping in town afterwards, because where it was, it's a town that I don't really go to very often. And it's a very old town as well, where they have loads of vintage kind of shops or like antique shops. So I was so excited. I went like thrifting. I went into a charity shop, and I bought all these like really pretty old pots, and they were only like £2 or £4 each. And I was like so excited because I was thinking of buying one like that online that wasn't actually a vintage one, but it was a very pretty like vasey kind of thing. And that was a lot more money, I can tell you that. So I was so excited. I also bought this really pretty picture that's going to go in my new office, which is very like oldie woldy, like my style in the cottage. It definitely isn't everybody's cup of tea. Some people look at that and be like, oh my gosh, that is 100% grandma. No, thank you. I am a modern gal. This is not my vibe. But for me, anything old or cottagey or anything with a bit of character, I absolutely love. And this painting is so pretty, and it's got like this bit of a local area in there as well. And I was like, oh my gosh, best day. You know when you just find something and you're like, this is a good find. So that made me very excited. So thought I would update you on the horses a little bit, because poor Mickey, he has had a little bit of a poorly eye recently, so we've been having to give him eye drops 3 times a day, but we can now say it's all clear. He's looking so good now. His eye is back to normal. It was so sad because there was this one bit where we think he did lose like a little bit of vision in it, or definitely when he had his like eye drops in, you know, everything goes a little bit cloudy for you, so couldn't really see out of it when it was all like sticky with the eye drops in. So when he was like looking at you over his stable door, he kind of like put his head to the side because he could only see with one eye, and obviously horses, they can't really see like directly in front of them that well. They're definitely more of like a prey animal where they have their eyes kind of on the side of their head so they can like see from the side a little better. That's why when you collect a horse, pick up a horse, catch a horse, whatever you want to say, when you grab a horse from a field, you don't walk directly up to them straight in front of them because they can't see you that well, so you always kind of approach them from the side. Anyway, you guys probably know that if you've been working with horses for years. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, poor guy. I think he was feeling a little bit sorry for himself. He wasn't feeling his normal Mickey self with his little poorly eye. And I don't know if he lost a bit of confidence because obviously he could only see with one eye for a little bit. So we actually decided to put him in a different field next to Casper for a little bit and give him some time away from Duke, who Duke is feeling very good in himself. He's going through that kind of teenage phase where he's a little bit feisty, and we thought Mickey was so excited to go in a different paddock. He was zooming around, so he was feeling a little bit better in himself then, and he was very excited to be with Casper. They were like doing some mutual grooming over the fence, so that was really cute, because obviously Mickey and Casper back in the day, the OG guys, it was literally just the 2 of them, so that was cute. Mickey is now back in with Duke. Now he's feeling a little bit less sorry for himself, because at first when Mickey, I don't know if he lost some confidence or whatever, but Duke started, normally it's the other way around, Mickey bosses the little Duke around, but Duke started bossing Mickey around, and I was like, oh Mix, no, you have some time on your own to recover, and he's doing better now, because today we had to put 2 hay nets out for a little bit because Duke wouldn't let Mickey near one of the hay nets. I was like, no, that is so sad. No, Mickey, you are not allowed to get old. You might be 25, but you're not allowed to get old. No, this is not happening. But anyway, Mickey is back to his normal self now. His eye is better because he bucked at Duke and was like, no, this is my haylage net, and Duke went away with his tail between his legs like, okay, you're the boss again now, sorry. So that was quite funny. Although I do think it might be good for Duke to be put in either with Casper or either with Joey, just to have a horse to be like, no, you might be small and have a lot of sass, size to sass ratio, there is a lot of sass, that's all I'm saying. But I think it might be good for Duke to be put in with a slightly bigger horse to boss him around a little bit and be like, okay, the world doesn't revolve around me. I'm not the boss of everyone. So anyway, that's kind of a little update for the horses. Oh my goodness, this morning it was recently rained, and we always say, I think I said this before in the previous episode, 13th of April, 12th of April, 11th of April, that is normally around the date where it's time to roll the fields. We're in May now. It has rained, and the fields are a bog again. They are so muddy, and I was like, well, we actually kind of missed the rolling opportunity because we were away in the States, and we were like, oh no, we haven't been able to roll the fields this year. Do not worry. The rain has come, and actually, to be fair, the rain has actually made the fields more flat and kind of softened them up a little bit, so definitely wasn't worth rolling them back when we were planning to. So you never know, there still might be a chance to roll them yet, but to be fair, they're not looking bad. They're actually looking really good. They've recovered well after the winter. But yeah, anyway, so it was a little bit damp. Put the horse outside. They were caked. Joey and Casper, oh my goodness, I was going to ride them first thing this morning, but I always like to let them out a little bit before I ride, just so they can have a little bit of leg stretch where they've been lying down or standing in their stables over the night. No, I'm like, no, I'm going to go and record a podcast instead because I want them to dry out before I brush them, because if not, it's just going to be like smearing mud. And even if I do decide, you know what, it might just be a hose pipe job, wash them off, then they're going to be all wet. And you don't really want to put a saddle on a wet horse because then they can get rubs and things, and that's not very nice. So I'm like, you have your naked time out in the field, be horses, get muddy, do what you like. That is a future Esme's problem. I'm going to go film a podcast and talk about them being muddy. So there we go. Oh my gosh, I forgot the horse book story. I have just remembered another being recognised story, and I probably should have told this at the beginning of the podcast to make it flow, but I'll tell you why I forgot to tell you at the beginning, because this story does not actually involve me. It involves my horse box. So recently our horse box was due its MOT, and if you don't know what that is, basically it's where all vehicles in the UK have to be inspected once a year to make sure that they're up to legal regulations, and you know, you're not driving something that's just gonna like fall apart in the middle of the road. Anyway, so that needed doing, and where the like MOT kind of place is, it's on a road where it's not really that busy of a road, but you know, cars do go by. And our MOT place had to ring us up being like, you need to come and pick up your horse box now, because there's like a queue of people taking photos with it on the side of the road. Apparently the amount of people that like kind of was driving along spotted it, stopped, reversed, went back, got out their car and went and got photos of the horse box. So I am thinking I might have to ring up Equito or Bloomfield's horse boxes where it's from and be like, guys, can we swap it for one that's maybe not so bright or maybe doesn't have the logo on, which is great because it's great fun and you guys can recognise it on the road, that kind of thing. But it is getting to the stage now where it's like our MOT place is probably going to be like, no, you can't come back. Too tricky. They had to like park it in the MOT bay round the back so people couldn't see it from the road. So yeah, that was a little bit awkward and a little bit embarrassing, having the MOT place being like, guys, please take it away, we don't want you anymore. So that's funny. But yeah, so if you are one of those people, you know, you're welcome to have a photo of the horse box. But I feel bad for the MOT place, but I just found it funny. They found it funny. You know, it's not that deep. They were fine about it, but it did get to the stage where it's like, okay, you can come and pick up your vehicle now. You can come and take it away. You know what? Good advertising for the MOT place. All the local people are going to be like, you know what? This is me. No, I'm joking. But anyway, that's a little funny story for you guys. Now that we're in spring and it is so light in the evenings, like I was saying earlier, 9 o'clock, you can still see a bit of daylight outside, which is wild, especially as in the winter over here, 4 o'clock, and it's pretty much almost dark. Anyway, something that I have been loving recently is a good old walk. I love going for a walk. So me and my friend the other day, she came over and we were like, she was just going to come over for, you know, a cup of tea, a little sit down, chat, and we were like, you know what? The bluebells are out at the moment, which if you don't know what bluebells are, if you're from a different country, they're these really pretty kind of bluey purple flowers that you get in a lot of woodlands in the UK, and there's quite a lot around where I live. So we were like, let's go for a little walk in the woods, across the fields. And we were like, oh yeah, we'll just go for like a little mooch about. We ended up going for like a 2-hour trek. When you have good company, time just goes by so quickly, because we thought, oh yeah, we'll just go for like a little stroll for a little bit, look at the bluebells. We ended up going for a 2-hour trek, because I was like, it was one of those walks where you kind of have to do like a walk some distance and then turn around and come back the way you came. And then we've been walking for so long, I was like, actually, wait a second, we can do a loop here so we can have a little bit of change of scenery. And we did like a full-on 2-hour walk. So we probably walked about 10 kilometers and we were just chatting away, and it went so quickly as well. So, you know, if you're ever bored one evening, ring up a friend, go for a walk in the countryside. Good old fun. But anyway, on that note, I think I'm going to finish off today's podcast episode there. Just want to say a huge thank you to Red Post for sponsoring the podcast. Pick up all of your summer essentials from them at redpostquestron.co.uk. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all next time. Bye!